Hello everybody, and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I will take a really not cheap, yeah, maybe it's cheap, a cheap Canon EF zoom lens 28 to 80, and it's a 3.5 to 5.6, and it's a version 2, and it has focus problem. It's a noisy problem, and because yeah, well, if I put it on my camera, this is a Nikon D500, no, 500D, sorry, it has really a problem. I mean, it looks okay, but if I turn it on and then focus on something, it will be something like that. Oh, come on. If it's on, or if we, so here we are, and we try again. Yeah, you can hear really noisy sound. Well, I took a look inside the lens just to see what's happened actually, and it looks like it's the gearbox somewhere over here that has the problem, and because of some of the plastic gear wheels in there, or part of it, that is really dry. So how to fix that? Yeah, we need some tools. We will come into it, and I think it will be really good. It's not that hard. We need some tools, at least some JIS screwdrivers. It will say a 2mm and a 2.5. I've written on here so it's easier to see. And it's of course JIS screwdrivers. Some dentist tool and a few of them just for making scratches and lift out things. Really handy. And some, of course, some tweezers. This one it has a rubber end, which I make. It's a tweezer from the stamp collector shop, which I have sprayed on some plastic coat, which make it sticky. So and it's good to lift out flex cables from the socket. So, but let's get into it. I mean, how to get into it? Oh, wow, it's really noisy. Cry. But it's not a problem if, I mean, the lens focus correct. No problem there. It's just the annoying noise in here from the gearbox that make it also a little slower. And I think I will give it some Liqui-Moly or maybe some lithium grease. I don't know yet, but you will see. But to get into it, we will need to take off the plate here, which is just put on with some adhesive tape on here. Do not try to unhook this yet. We will come to it sooner. But we have to go into here with a really thin spade, or maybe a screwdriver, a tiny screwdriver could also be handy. As you can see here, there's some kind of a gap here, and you can use a thin screwdriver and just gently dig under it. Of course, I have been into it, but anyway, with a dentist tool, it's sometimes much easier to just gently lift it out and go all the way around to lift it off from the tape. And here we are. this is what it is. One can actually almost, just put on some sticky tape here, just clear off the old one, and then get a new one on. Oh, for that, you cannot take off the mount here because it's part of the bottom of the lens assembly. Even the two tiny screws here for the contact here, it gives not any idea in this case. Well, to get further into it, we need to actually, I will just explain it in a way, take off the rubber grip only. Then we will come into 3 screws under here, and then can continue with disassemble part of the lens. So with a tool here, you can gently lift up the rubber and at the same time push that way, because then it will come over the edge, also the bottom here. It will, it's new, the rubber band is not that old, so it should last for, in this case. So now we can just gently pull it off. So here it is, and that's it. Now here we come into the more interesting part. You see the here you maybe can see some of the circuit board in here, and the contact here that gives information to the electronic and the camera, which zoom, here you can see it, but it will also tell the camera what zoom you are on. Now, to get further into it, we need to unscrew 3 screws. It will say this one, and the last one here. So if we do that, we can take the whole thing apart. It will say the whole section here, and just have this in one hand and the other part here in one hand. Now, before doing so, there is a flex cable in here which we need to take out, and it's a good idea to just, if you, so you not get confused about how does this one sit. Well, it can only sit in one position, but anyway, just set a mark down here with a pen, permanent marker, and also here. It will make it easier to remember, just in case. I only found a parts manual for this, but it doesn't really tell so much in details. And yeah, we will just do that. One thing is good to know, that before you take it apart, set a mark here. Where you can see I set a mark here with the first screw, and it's in line with this notch, kind of a hole or something, but you see there's also other 3 screws here, but the zoom grip here has to sit at the correct position when you put it in. So that's why it is a good thing to just set a small mark here in related to the parts here and here, so you know where it should sit. Now, you might think, why not take off the front? Yeah, we could also do so, because then we could go further into the zoom part and see all the stuff inside. You see, there are two small notches on the front, here and here, but it's important that you do not use a lens spinner here and here, not at all, no. So how to go into it? Well, there are 3 screws here, one there, there and there. And again, it's a good thing to sit a mark where you can, but if you see at that point, this lens can only sit in one position. So when you take it out, well, and try to move it around, you can only put it in one way. So that's also good to know. And if you just think about it, I mean, in the beginning I set a mark here. You probably can see there is some color there, just so we not get confused about it. And I also set a mark down here, so it's there, so I know the exact position. It was before I hit the manual. Now, to get off those 3 screws, just use a crosshead screwdriver and unscrew them. And the lens, it's a whole front lens group, and it's not really possible, I mean normally it's not possible to take it apart, because it's made as one single group with no retaining ring or no way to take it apart. So what to do next? Well, we could use a lens spinner like this one if you have. Normally I use my this motorized, but for now we can just use this lens sucker, sorry. And we can just lift it out, so we can see here it looks like that. And not to get you confused about how should things sit, well, it's also a good thing to put a mark in here somewhere, just like this. You probably can see here. I know it's difficult, but there is a kind of a mark here, and it's also related to this mark here. But anyway, it can only sit one position. Put the lens on something like a stand so it's safe. Now, and then we continue into the inner of this lens. So lift out the flex here with a rubberized tweezer. So it's very easy. That's it. Now put the zoom ring here with the mark and simply unscrew those 3 screws. Remember, take good care of the tiny spacers here. They so they will not fly away or roll over where you cannot find it. So out with the screws. It's good with a magnetized screwdriver in this case. Out with the spacer. So there, and the last spacer here. So, and then we can simply but take care of here and look what's really happened. You see the contact here, this contact, there is, you probably can see in here, there is a kind of a plate. And be careful to, when you assemble the lens, to have the flex cable on top of it. It will say, of course it's out, I mean it's in the other end, where we'll just have it here. So let's say the lens is sitting as it should when assembled, but look at the flex cable. It sits on top of the, it should sit something like that. So when you put the flex cable in, it should be on the top side of the plate. If not, if it sits something like if it sits something over the, I mean under it, it could be a problem. So be careful of that. Now, before we continue, just so we remember that, I'll just set a few marks. So here on the front, just turn it around. You see here the there are 3 rings. The focusing ring, which is, no, it's difficult to see, this one here, the outer ring, and next one of the zoom part, which is here. So before you take it apart, just set a mark here, and you should also set a mark somewhere here. It's the inner. So, but set a mark somewhere over here. It will help you when you assemble it. And also here on the inner part, it's good to also set a mark. So all the marked helicoils here sits in this area here. So that's it. Flip it over, and then we can also take a look. Before you can take out the inner part here, it's necessary to take off the brush here. But we'll not do it for now, because I will jump into the lens sooner to fix the aperture in here. So, but the main thing in this case is the focusing system, which you see here as a block of gears, and this is the connection to the white. Where is it? Somewhere. If we can hit it. No, not easy. Where is it? Somewhere over here. Yeah. So here we are. You see the white pin here? It's the connection to the focusing. So when turning the focusing ring here, you will probably see the pin is moving a little. Is it possible to show here? Yeah, you probably can see it. It will move. And it's the connection pin to this pin here, which is again go into the gearbox here with all the plastic wheels. Now, I need to unscrew 2 screws to take out the whole gear assembly. And it is this screw here and this screw here. So we will do that. And I will also unsolder the 2 wires here. So remember to set a mark here where the brown wire is, just so you know where it goes. So before taking it apart, just unsolder it the easy way. So there, and also this one, if it's possible to hit it. Okay, here we are. So out with that. Now, so the gearbox is it has no connection at all. Remember one thing: the AF MF has to sit in M. It will say down. So there. And then you can come into the 2 clips that sit here. You probably can see them here. There's a plastic clip there and a plastic clip down there. So gently, I mean, no hard pressure on those. So you just have a good grip on your tool whatsoever. It could be a screwdriver like this, and gently press on it. Do not have to press too much, but just so it comes slightly loose. So there. And it's the same with the other end. There's no need to force anything. And then you can flip up the plastic clip a little, gently. So there and there. And now it's free, and then you can take it out. So it should look something like that. And I can see I did it wrong. Well, it should have stayed on. Sorry. Well, we do it again. Well, we put it on again and say that was not what we should have done. Before going into it, set the AF MF to AF. That's it. And then push out the pin here gently. Something like that. And then gently pry it off, kind of. Now, the reason for that is so it should sit like that. I set a small mark in here just to remember where it should sit, and you see the contact here should sit, the switch should sit all the way over to here, that way, and set a mark where it should stay. And the reason for that it should stay on AF is that this part here will, when I push it down, it will come up again. So that's why the hole in here in the AF should stay something like that. Now, then we can unscrew the gearbox and simply go into the gearbox with all the cogwheels and it's not necessary to take off the two screws here. So then we should be able to lift it out. Okay, there is something there. Well, okay, maybe I should have unsoldered the other way on the circuit board, but yeah, we can just do so. Or I mean, it's not really necessary. We can just have the part sit here and have to put it on something not really that high. Maybe this one here could be better, something like that. Yeah, it works, I think. Now in here there are it's not good. Hold on. I'll just set a mark here. It will say the brown wire should have a dot. And then I will disconnect the wires here. It will make it a little easier when taking it apart. So there, and so now it's free and we can do whatever we want with it. And maybe I should just put the wires on here again, so they are where they should be. Okay. So it so now we are here, and the other wire should go onto the red dot on the motor. So now here we can work with it. There are two screws that hold the plate for all the gear wheel in here, and this is the shift from working from manual to, from auto to manual. So now there is no noise because the motor is not, the part up here is not connected to the other, but release the pin here, it will make the gears here working, all of them. So let's go into it. It's not that hard. This screw take care of the the gear wheel, how they sit in here. I think about one thing just to remember. There is a tiny rubber band in here with the gear from the motor to the gearbox in here. So when turning it, so if the autofocus does not work, no matter what position this is in, it could be the rubber band that is broken, and then there's no connection for it. So keep that in mind if it's if there's something wrong. Now let's have a look inside the gearbox. It's not the problem as I see it. It's more in the so there, and take care of the gear wheel does not fly around. So gently lift up the plate here, and so it should be possible. So, and then we can lift it up. Take care. I should have said it before, but there is a tiny spring in here. That is actually the part that moves the shift section here. So you can see here, it will lift up the spring and the gear wheel. So there. If you can go down again, so something like that, and you can see it work that way. So if we turn it, and if I push up on this, it will shift the gear wheel, so it's off, and then I can just turn the focusing ring if it was connected to that. So the rest of the part here are not connected. Now let's get rid of the tiny spring so it will not fly around, and just take out this gear wheel, the first one. It can only sit in one position, so there shouldn't be any problem with that. Now the thing is here, the motor here, and the little counter. I don't know the name of this, but it's the part that is related to the opto coupler, which you can see here. So it goes through it. And it should be, I think it should be lubricated in a way. I mean, the plastic in here looks really dry. So hold on a second. So something like that. Just need a better stronger glasses to see the small things. And here you can see the inside here. Oh, sorry. Here you can see the inside here, and it's a bit dry. So if I would like to give it some lube, I think it would be a tiny drop of, not drop, but a tiny amount of lithium grease. I think it would be fine. Where is a? That's it. I mean, all the wheels here are really dry, so I think it needs some kind of lubrication just to make it less noisy. And there could also be a tiny amount of, here you can see. So we just give it a little. And I think it should also have something here just to make it less noisy and running smooth. So then put it on, and is it possible to put the gear wheel in? So some of the I think it was strange, it's the only part, I mean the only axle end here that has no lube at all. So I think I will just add a tiny amount, just what it is here. Should be more than enough, because there's something here, there should be lube something, but does not at all. So let's try with that. Put it on here and let it go into place, so it's there, and let's see what's happened. Okay, well, as you can see, it works much better. So that's it. I will just put it back in again. Say that's all fine. Remember the little spring here. So there, and the cover plate here will come on. So there, and remember it comes over the little plastic pin here, and for now it's so there. Do not push too much, I mean too hard. It's really plastic, so I think it should break quite easily. So there. And now, so it is. Wow, it works really good. And if I set it to AF, I mean manual focus, it works really good. And back to AF. Wow, it's smooth, and there's no sound at all. So that's it. So I can just put it back in again and say that's all fine. I just need to put on, I mean solder the two wires on and say that's all fine. Where are they? Here. So there, and put it in again. Where should it stay? There. So, and that's where are they sitting there? So there it is, and we need the two screws for that. Gearbox, and say that's fine. That's fine, really good. Well, there is something that is a bit noisy, but maybe some of the gear wheel that goes, I mean, work against each other. So, well, I think it's good for now. And then I can solder the wire on again. Okay, can we just do it in a different way? So there, and that's it. The one wire and then the other one. So it'd be there. Hey. And there it is. Now, that's it. I mean, for now. And I'll just put it back in again and see if it works as it should, hopefully. And we have this here. So the lens assembly here. Oh gosh, let this come out. Oh. Now, I think I will take you through the how, if you want to disassemble the parts here, take off the brush itself. It can only sit in one position, so there's no. But have a good finger here inside here, so you know where things should sit. But off with that, because then it's safer to work with. Just so we not damage anything. Now, before taking anything apart, the inner lens assembly will come off the thread. So it's important, really important as usual, when things come off. It's important to set a mark where the helicoid gets off the thread, and it's the same here, where this inner helicoid comes off. Again, it's important to, where is the off point? Well, I know it because I've been into the lens. So this is why it is extremely important. It will come off here, as you can see there, and set a mark here somewhere, but I just use this place to set a mark. Set a mark here and also a mark here, so you know where it comes off, like that. Here we are. Now the next thing is the middle helicoid and the focusing ring itself will also come off at some point, but the middle helicoid is part of the zoom. So let's say it stays there. It will say, yeah. And then the marks here should be in line. I know it's difficult to see, but I would not like to use white paint on here. Should not work. But the zoom ring itself, it will say this part here. It's also the most inner that moves of the rings here. So when it comes off, it will stop here, there. It cannot go any further. But of course, when it comes to go off, the inner part, it will go there and go up, say there, go up and down again, and then it will come off here. So have a good grip here. So when it comes off, it will say over one top here and down again, and when it goes straight down, you will set a mark somewhere here, so you know where it comes off. And then we can just pull it out, see here, then it will come off. Actually, it can only sit there, but anyway, it's good to have a kind of a mark where it should stay. Now, the focusing part, which is this part here, you can see the white roller when the focusing is going. It can only sit in one position because of the stop for the focusing. The focusing ring cannot go any further. So there. So then we can just put it in again and say that's all fine. Where is my mark? Somewhere. Yep. So it's there. Where is the mark? Is here, and here's my off mark related to where the focusing ring cannot go any further. I'll say here. It could be here or there. It's just I set the mark here, and where it comes off, it will say it go all the way up here and down and out. So I have to figure out where is my mark is here in this case. So it has to come up here, there, and it will, you can just hold two fingers here, and then one should be able to move it over there, and it will go there. So this is where it ends. So now I'll just put in the inner focusing, the inner zoom part, and it can only sit in one position because I set the mark here, the mark here, you probably can see it, is there. And then put it on, slide it in, so it is. So there. And now I should be able to actually put the lens together in a way. There, there. And there is also a thingy, the two guide pins here that hold the whole lens assembly from twisting. It also have to sit correct. So when have the lens, something like that. Oh shit. Where is my mark here? It's not easy. It falls around. There. There it is, and there. Now, where is this and this? This. Put it in, and it's there. just let it fall down. Now then we can add the the brush here. So it's there, and then the brush itself. Come on. And it can also only sit in one position. It cannot move or in that way. So it's good. Now push the inner lens group up so it sits something like that. Twist the zoom part. It's a bit alive, so it's not that easy. Say there, yeah. And have grip there. Now let's see what's happened. There. Not here. I have to twist this there. Ah, gosh. So there. Have the flex cable so the middle lens group is sitting all the way, almost all the way out where it should stay, and put on the 2 guide pins. There's also a gap, I mean a notch on each of those plastic pins, and they have to go over those 3. This one here, and this one. I know it's a bit yeah, complicated way. And remember, the white pin goes over the black pin here. So now we have to figure out, okay, on with the 2 guide pin first. It will say something like that, and maybe twist a little there, and it should go over the focusing pin. So there. It's a bit tricky to put on, but I hope you get the idea of what's happened. So hopefully we will end it up the same place as I began. And also, where did my flex go? It's somewhere in here. Yeah, it's fine. I know it's difficult to see. Maybe a torch will go through it. See the plate for the brush. The flex cable has to sit above that. Hope it makes sense. So there. And I think we are almost there. Yeah. Something in this is not correct. The two guide pins are there. This is there, and the oh, I think I know where it is. It's the flex cable that interfere with the some parts in here. Yeah. See, it comes the wrong side of the guide pin here. Come on, little fellow. So, here we are. It's not so easy. So, if one said plastic lenses should be easy to work on, not really. Okay, take it off again, because it will be, one can bend the flex a little so it goes all the way up to here, as long as it can. So we'll stay there. Put on the guide pins. Okay. Nah. What's going on? Well, it worked fine before when I was in to the lens, but now it's a bit tricky. Okay, it will rest over here. So there. Maybe it's why it's there. Okay. I think it will work. There is a maybe you can see that the cable can rest on here. So maybe it will work. And it will be that. So we need to do that. The focusing connection is there, and okay, I think we are here. Okay, well, as you can see, it's a bit tricky, but it works. So I just need to put on the flex cable and the connector, if it's possible. Okay, what's going on here? So there we are, and then you can also see the flex cable is above the plate in here. So then I should be able to screw it in and say that's fine. Yeah. Whew. Almost safe home. So we can see it works as it should. So that's great. Something is working. Ah, no, no. I just forgot the roller. Okay. I just forgot the bloody roller. And that's all fine. Now the last screw here. This part here. And no. Ah, come on. Do. Okay, we'll put it in another way. There we are. Yeah, it sounds good. So the AF should stay on AF. Yeah. The bloody switch in here should stay all the way over there, and this the switch from the gearbox should stay all the way up. So now we can put it on, and let's see if it will work. Yeah, fine there, and yeah, fine. So now I can just not yet try the just to see if it will work. I know it will absolutely focus in a different way, but just to see if it will work. Yeah, much better. Wow, that's all fine. Then I can add the 3 screws and the front. Of course, there's a mark here, and there is also a mark up here. There. I can just add the front lens group here, and it should stay there. See the screw holes, and then the 3 screws here. There, another one. There. It is here. And the last screw. Then the I don't know what this part's called, just a ring cover. So put it on here, and one can add some new adhesive tape also. and then the rubber band on. So here, and of course I could have put on the rubbering maybe from the front. It would have maybe have been easier. There we are, almost there. So, and here we are again with a working focus system. So that's all fine. That's all for me. I mean, the next video will be about the, and I will go into the lens again, but it will be another video about the, you probably can see there is something wrong with the aperture plate in there. And that's the reason I will not make it all in one video. So there will be another one that where I go into the aperture assembly. It's not really necessary to take it out, I guess, but let's see what's happened. That's all for me. Hope you enjoy the content. Bye bye.